Welcome back. This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And today I'm going to
Project Bravo Engine 14 heart problem.
Alexa,
Sleep in.
stop. I forgot and left Alexa on there. Let me get her out of the way here. What was I saying? Oh, in the previous video when I was talking about Alexa, let me turn her on mute. Otherwise, she's going to respond every time I mention her name. That I went to a Hamfest yesterday, the first Hamfest I've been to, I think, since February. And a friend of mine called me up and said, would you like to go with me to the Melbourne Hamfest, which is a 3-hour trip one way, so it's 6 hours. And a long time ago, we used to go there and stay overnight. So it wasn't so bad because you'd ride for 3 hours and then rest, and then go to the Hamfest, and then come back the next day. So you only had 3 hours riding or driving per day. Well, we were going to do a 6-hour run, and he had put out a request to all his buddies if anybody wanted to go with him. Well, I had the feeling that he wouldn't get any responses because he was not going to stay overnight, and in order to get there early enough to be there when it opened up, he'd have to leave about 3 o'clock in the morning. So I sent him an email and said, if you don't get anybody else, I'll be glad to go with you. Felt, he was looking for somebody to go with him. And so he didn't get any others, so we went. Unfortunately, we didn't need to be there at 6 a.m. The tailgate in the bulletin said that it would start at 6 a.m. Well, it didn't. It didn't really get started until the sun came up, which was about 7. So we just sat in the car for an hour and talked. No big deal. And so we started looking around, and at 9 o'clock, they had the indoor part. You could go indoors, see the tables that were set up indoors. And I found this particular item. I found it outside of the tailgate. That's where the people set up outside. They call it tailgating. And the gentleman wanted $40. And I offered him $30. And he said, nope, $40. Come back later, maybe I'll change my mind. So when I went inside, I found this one. It was marked 25, and I said, would you take 20? And he said, yeah, sure, I'll take 20. So I got this one. I have not set it up yet. And what this is it's a external DSP, or digital signal processor. And Radio Shack came out with these several years ago, many years ago. And they were to be set up with your radio, connected to the audio output of your radio, and then there's a digital signal processor to process that audio, clean it up with a couple of filters. It's got on the front here. You can select bandwidth, narrow, medium, or wide, and you can select filter is noise reduction, single sideband, and CW. Features that on a more expensive radio would be built in, but on the cheaper radios, they wouldn't have these functions. And it's got a volume control because it has a amplifier and a built-in speaker. So you would connect this to your shortwave radio and tune it. Now, I've seen Jill's on his YouTube show use this quite often with his radios, and he apparently likes it. So I've been looking to get one for some time. They've been going for over $50 on eBay used. I don't know. I think they were maybe $79 when they were new. Maybe, I don't know. So I grabbed this one. It looks in brand new condition, but we will see. That's the trouble with the flea market. A lot of it is what you see is what you get, and I had no way of testing this. So I asked the guy was it working? And he said yes. Now, I didn't ask him if it was working good. Here's the cables that he had with it for power, and here's an audio cable to hook it up to your radio. And the connections, there's a connection on the front for a big 1/8 inch set of headphones, and there are connections on the back for the power for connecting an external speaker instead of this little cheapo built-in speaker, and where you bring your audio input from your receiver. So that's basically how it works. And we'll see, number one, does this even work? I'll get a power supply set up for it, see if it even works, and hook up to the radio. I want to hook it up to a radio that doesn't have these type of functions, or if it did, they're limited. So that's what I want to do, and see how it works. So that's basically it. So this, even though it may not work, just the thrill of playing with it for $20 is worth it. And it makes that Hamfest a good Hamfest. I found something. I've been to many, many Hamfest where I came home with zero, nothing. And so, in those I would call a bad Hamfest. Now, it might have had a lot of people there, a lot of sellers, but they didn't have the stuff I wanted. It was a bad Hamfest. Now, this particular Hamfest, the outside has a parking lot, not a real big parking lot, but about the size of half the size of a football field. That's how big the parking lot is. So it's not very big. And it was about 3/4 full, maybe a little less. Indoors, it was kind of like an auditorium size indoor facility, and it was about 3/4 full. Lots of stuff there, but mostly parts, used parts mostly. And big attendance. There was a lot of people there shopping. It ran 2 days. It ran Friday, half a day, and Saturday. And a lot of people had gone Friday. A lot of the locals that live, close by, they went Friday. So a lot of stuff got picked over on Friday. My friend that I went with, he spent, I don't know, $250. So he bought a couple of high dollar items. He's more willing to take risks than I am. So that's how it went. So I'm going to set this up. If it works, I'll do a show on it. If it doesn't work, I'm not going to let you know that I got a piece of junk. I'll put a comment on this show that I tested it and it didn't work and there's nothing to see. So I'll do that. So anyway, that's the show for today. If you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. Have a great day. The weather is perfect today in Florida. It was perfect yesterday, perfect today. It's finally cooled down. So much for the weather report. Bye-bye.